Mino I tātou. E whātoro atu ana te ngā kau ki rangi nui e tū nei ki papa tuanuku e takoto nei. Ki ngā pauwhare o ngā tūpuna. E whakaaro nui ane ki ngā tāngata katoa. I whakatōki ai ko te ngā kau mārama ki roto ki tēnā o tātou. I whakahonoa ko te kiko ki te wairua ki a tīnanga. Hei whakapakari. Hei taki a tātou i roto i a tātou mahi katoa. I roto i te ātārangi o rangi nui o papa tuanuku o ngā tūpuna. Turu o whiti whakamaua ki a tīna. Hui e tāki e. Please join in the singing of our hymn. The words are printed in the program on page 10 and are also on the screen on the stage. Hymn sung first verse in English, second verse in Māori. Graduate of the Diploma in Screen Production 2016 and the Diploma in Performing Arts Voice in 1997, please welcome Alison Beale.
Please be seated. Ko te rangi me te whenua ka pāhemo, engari ko tana kupu ka mō tono. Tihei Māori ora, ena mate, haere atura, haere, hoki atura. A kia tātou e hui nei, nā kanohi ki tia, tēnā tātou katoa. The mihi of welcome here says the sky and the earth will change, but his word will hold true. To those who have passed, rest with those who have passed before. And to those of us gathered here today, the many faces, I greet you all. And it is with real pleasure that, as Chief Executive here at EIT, that I welcome you to Graduation 2017. No mai ki tēnei hui, whakanui mō te manga kaupapa, mā te ranga ahuria haora. Welcome to the graduation ceremony for the Faculty of Education, Humanities and Health Sciences. This is one of 5 graduation ceremonies. We've had 3 here this week, the 3rd in Hawke's Bay, and we have another one coming up in Tairāwhiti in Gisborne, and then one in Auckland next week. These ceremonies are a high point in our year. It's a chance for us to celebrate your achievement. I'd like to start just at the beginning by acknowledging some people. Firstly, thank you to the Kai Whakahaere, Tuahake Kipa, and Kari Tipa, the Kai Kairanga, for leading us in the karanga and the karakia. Also, I'd like to acknowledge the students from Te Uranga Waka who honoured our graduates with the haka as they processed in. Thank you for your work over the last 3 ceremonies and the honouring that you've provided. I acknowledge David Pearson, the Chair of Council. David will be making the awards as we move into the ceremony. And I'd like to acknowledge some other guests here today. Firstly, Napier City Councillor Claire Hawke. Welcome, Claire. Good to have you back on the stage after having sat on the stage in many different capacities. Also to EIT Council members, Jacoby Pauline and also Ms. Geraldine Travers. Thank you again for being here today. And for our guest speaker, Dr. Russell Wills, who I will introduce later. To EIT staff, welcome, and I acknowledge you here also. There's one group that we really do need to acknowledge today, and that is the family and friends of our graduates. We want to acknowledge the fact we know you're an important part of your loved one's journey and how they've been successful being here today. Might be your son or your daughter. You've watched them grow through the different stages of life, and today they are graduating. Might be your mum or dad, and it's always touching when we hear the "go mum" or "that's my dad" call. Might be your auntie, your uncle, your granddad or your nana, your partner, your husband or your wife. You've watched these people go through the hard times of study and you've supported them. You've made them cups of tea. You've tidied their rooms after them or tidied the desk and the bench and table after they've left everything lying around. You've helped them with their referencing or you've proofread some really boring assignment. You've help them find things when they've lost things. You've got the printer to work when it wouldn't go. You've probably given them some money. You might have put some petrol in the petrol in the petrol tank, and you might have de-stressed them at times when they really needed some de-stressing. We had a distressed student in my household this week, and this is a very true story. My daughter had an examination at 9 o'clock on Tuesday morning. Like most students, she spent much of the night studying. And then she failed rather miserably to set her alarm that night. She woke up at 9:30 on Tuesday morning, half an hour after the exam had started. What do? When you're in a panic situation like that? You call Mum. Mum, what do? I've slept in from my exam. Mum gives some good advice. Ring the course controller, head of department, immediately tell them what's happened and they might be able to do something. So she rang through. And they told her, if you can get across to the campus here before the other students have finished the exam, we'll allow you to sit the exam. So a frantic trip across Auckland City to the campus occurred, and she arrived there half an hour before the other students had finished her exam, and she sat her exam. Now, whether she passed or not, I don't know, but she got there. And the reason of that story is there'll be people in the graduates here who've been helped and given advice at critical times that has helped them through those humps, through those difficulties. And we want to acknowledge the support that our family and friends make towards our graduates being successful. I also, a part of that story is to acknowledge the work of staff, and I acknowledge staff in the effort they make to help graduates be successful in their study. That we and the staff get a lot of satisfaction when we see you cross this stage. And so thank you to my colleagues for what you do to ensure these graduates are here today. We thank and acknowledge you all for the support you provide. Now, they're all here for one reason, and that's for you graduates, to acknowledge and welcome you. You've made it. You've finally nailed it. You've all come on different journeys, you've different starting points and different reasons for being here. But one, you made a choice to come and study. Not long after I arrived in Hawke's Bay, we organised some work to be done on our house, and I went home at lunchtime one day to get something, and there was this guy with sandpaper and a scraping down the weatherboards in an absolutely blistering, hot, sunny, scorching February day in Hawke's Bay. Perspiration was dripping off him, and as I walked past, I said, "G'day, how's it going? Tough job." And he looked at me with a wry look on his face, and he just said, "I should have spent longer at school." Well, you did spend longer at school. You've made sacrifices, you've given up time, you've given up years, late nights, you've juggled demands. For some of you, it's been particularly challenging. And I want to acknowledge the international students who are here today, graduates who are here today, that you've travelled to a different country, you've studied in a different language, and you've taken on particularly significant challenges. Whatever your journey today, you've all met the standard to graduate. And I can assure you that EIT takes its academic quality standards seriously. You can have confidence today in the award you're going to get. And here are some facts. EIT has the highest quality ranking possible from the New Zealand Qualifications Authority. EIT is a Category 1 top-ranked tertiary institution here in New Zealand. EIT is also one of the top-ranked institutes of technology for research performance here in New Zealand. EIT has come a long way since opening some 40 years ago. It now offers some 12 bachelor's degrees, 3 honours degrees, many postgraduate diplomas, and now 6 master's degrees, some of which you'll see awarded today, alongside the many certificates and diplomas across the institution. Our goal is to provide high-quality vocational education and applied professional higher education to the people here in Hawke's Bay, the people in Tairāwhiti, and also nationally in our specialist areas of expertise, such as viticulture and wine science, advanced nursing education and health sciences, Māori studies, and Māori visual art and design. And also internationally. I mentioned international students before, and you know in 2016 we had 800 students, international students, studying here at EIT from some 49 different countries around the world. And it's not just those students coming to us. We've also been approached by offshore universities to deliver our areas of expertise in their universities. So 2016 was a year that you completed. And it was also a busy year for the institution and your faculty. The faculty last year honoured and celebrated the contribution and leadership of Dr. Susan Jacobs, who was a key educational leader here at EIT and who retired after many years of outstanding service. We are very pleased to also welcome Professor Natalie Warren from the University of Edinburgh as the new Executive Dean of the faculty. Professor Warren is an internationally recognised leader in her field of study. We're also very pleased to go through with making the appointment of Professor David Tiffany Leach as a research professor in Māori and Indigenous research. Professor Leach is also widely recognised as a leader in his field of study. The School of Nursing celebrated some 35 years of nursing education, of providing that across New Zealand. Jennifer Roberts was appointed as head of school during the year, and Associate Professor Pamela Wood, an internationally recognised in her field, was also appointed to the School of Nursing. And the School of Health and Sports Science has spent the year working across the region in a number of different community places, working also in collaboration with Sir Graham Avery in establishing the Millennium Centre here in Hawke's Bay, focused on community health and also supporting high-performance athletes. Your faculty and its staff has been highly active in their professional fields, and they've been engaged in the wider community. So you can have confidence in your qualification, that you're getting it from one of New Zealand's top-ranked, highly regarded tertiary institutions. So what's in front of you next? What sort of world is coming down the tracks at you? Well, there are going to be great opportunities. There are going to be challenges, and there is going to be great change. There have been so many changes and advances in science and technology that some of them are scarcely imaginable if you think back in the past. And there's much more to come. Much of what will come will be unexpected. Much of it's going to be very hard to predict. I mean, just look at 2016. We got to vote on a new flag. We had Brexit, where the British voted to leave Europe. The Americans voted too. They elected Donald Trump. And now we learn about things like alternative facts, fake news. And then at the end of last year, we had the 38th Prime Minister of New Zealand resigned and the 39th Prime Minister was sworn in. A bit hard to see all of that coming last year. Simple fact is no one can predict the future. There will be the unexpected. Seemingly impossible things will happen. Unimaginable events will be shaping the world we live in. And the next 50 to 100 years will see massive change that is almost impossible to imagine. And it possibly might make the last 50 years look like they were slow and easy. This is the world that is in front of you and in front of me. So our challenge to you is don't stop learning here. We know this is just part of your journey. And we hope the qualification that you've been awarded will help you go forward into a world that is going to be full of opportunities, is going to be full of challenges, and is also going to be full of uncertainties. Our hope is that as an EIT graduate, you will make a contribution to your community, to your whānau, and to your profession, and that you will bring good into our world. But enough of that, and enough of the next 50 years. Now it is time to sit back and enjoy. This ceremony has lots of pomp and ceremony in it, I know, but you were also here to celebrate your loved ones who crossed the stage. So we do invite you in amongst the pomp and ceremony to celebrate as your loved one crosses the stage. And graduates, this is your moment. Enjoy it. Now, you're probably sitting there feeling very nervous, actually, and you're probably worried about tripping up. It is true that this is being live streamed all around the world, but I can assure you, firstly, no one has ever tripped up before, but there's always a first. But anyway, enough of that. It's now time to move to the awards. So thank you. Let us begin with the awards. By the authority of the Council of the Eastern Institute of Technology, David Pearson, Chair of the EIT Council, will now award the diplomas and confer the degrees on those to be presented and on those listed as in absentia. Mr. Pearson. The Dean of Tamanga Kaupapa Mātauranga Ahurea Hawora, the Faculty of Education, Humanities and Health Science, Professor Natalie Warren will present to you recipients of diplomas in the faculty.
Mr. Pearson, I have the honour to present the diplomas in Te Kura Kaupapa Hauora, Hakinakina, the School of Health and Sports Science. Diploma in Beauty and Body Therapy, Amy Blackmore. Malin Charlton. Jess Ferry. Hannah Heath. Jodie Keefe. Emma Kenny. Tamar Kinney. Donna Miller. Abigail Schuler. Shalita Stevenson. Paige Thompson. Our next graduate is also awarded the Sedesco Award for the highest EIT Sedesco top results, theory and practical examination results, and top special project. Congratulations, Kendall Trell. Michelle War. Brooke White. Camille Wilkins. We now have the Diploma in Recreation and Sport. Connor Greenham. Ron Makarere Harawa. Joby Pormari. Nicola Woods. And next we have the Diploma in Therapeutic and Sport Massage. Hannah Campbell. Claudia Carr Branco. Karina Cooper. Tegan Duncan. Jennifer Hope. Monique Lowe. Caitlin Schwartz. Our next graduate is also awarded the Massage New Zealand Association Award for the highest achieving graduate in the Diploma in Therapeutic and Sport Massage. Well done, Nikki Wright. The National Diploma in Mental Health Support Worker, Terry Burke. Sierra Kayam. Vesna Slosher. And Sandra Verco. Thank you, Mr. Pearson. That concludes the awarding of diplomas, and I invite Mr. Collins to introduce our guest speaker.
Thank you. It's my real privilege now to introduce our guest speaker for this ceremony, Dr. Russell Wills. Russell, thank you again for your willingness to come and address the graduation ceremonies this morning and this afternoon. Russell's been someone who's been very busy and active, not just here in New Zealand, but also nationally. He's a community and general practitioner, and he's also the Medical Director of Quality Improvement and Patient Safety at the Hawke's Bay District Health Board here in Hawke's Bay. He trained in medicine in Otago, and he did paediatric training then from there in Hampshire and Australia, including also completing a master's degree in public health in Brisbane. He was the national paediatrician for Plunkett and a senior lecturer at the Wellington School of Medicine and a community paediatrician at Wellington Hospital. He's been now in Hawke's Bay here since 2001, a general and community paediatrician. Then he was appointed for the previous 5 years, the last 5 years or so, as the New Zealand Children's Commissioner until June last year, where Russell was a strong and powerful voice for children in this country. Russell's main interests are in the intersectoral community around intervention for children and young people who have complex medical, behavioural and family issues. He's held leadership roles in a wide number of places, including with the Paediatric Society of New Zealand and the Royal Australian College of Physicians. He's contributed to many publications, national guidelines, and a wide-ranging number of areas. Russell lives here in Hawke's Bay and, of course, is also a family man and lives here with his family, which includes 2 adolescent sons. Russell, it is my real privilege now and pleasure to invite you to come and address the graduates.
E ngā mana, e ngā reo, e ngā hoe whā, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Tuatahi ko ngā mihi ki te atua I te rangi, ko I te timatanga o ngā mea katoa mā te rangi ki runga, mā te whenua ki raro. Tēnā koe e pā. E awhi nei tēnei hui whakapūmau o te kura hauora, me te kura mātaranga o te āhau a Māui. Tuarua, kei te mihi ki te wharenui a tāhua e tūnei tēnā koe. Kei te mihi ki ngā mana whenua o tēnei rohi, nā te kahunungu ki a hurere tēnā koutou. Ngā mate huhua o te wā, o te tau, haere, oki ai. Ka mihi mana ki tā manu kōrero o tēnei hui, tēnā koutou, te uranga waka tēnā koutou. E mihi mana ki ngā ahorangi o te kura, tēnā koutou. Kei te mihi mahana I ngā kāhui āko, ngā onamata, raua, mea koutou whānau, tēnā koutou. He mihi tēnei kia koutou ngā uri o ngā waka, ngā manu kōrero o ngā iwi, ngā kaikaranga o te kaupapa hauora. Tēnā koutou e hari nei, e whai nei, I ngā taonga tuku iho a o koutou mātua tipuna. Te manu e kai I te miro, nōna te ngahere. Te manu e kai I te mātauranga, nōna te ao. Nō reira, tēnā anō hoki koutou e kimi nei, e rāpū nei, I te mātauranga hei oranga mau, kia whai hua ai mau, hei oranga hoki mō, tō whānau, tai noa kia tātou katoa o iwi. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Mr. David Pearson, Chair of the IT Council, Mr. Chris Collins, Chief Executive, kai whakahaere, tuhakia kepa, tēnā koe. Advisory group members, professors and teachers of EIT, graduating students and families, thank you for the honour of inviting me to deliver this address. congratulations to all of you graduating today. You've worked hard to get here, and I hope you're all very proud of what you've achieved. I've been a paediatrician, a children's doctor for 18 years, and a doctor for 29 years. Yes, I know I'm older than I look. I work with nurses, social workers, sports science graduates, teachers and many other disciplines. In that time, the practice of paediatrics and medicine has changed enormously, mostly, I hope, for the better. So in this short time I have with you, I'd like to give you a sense, guys, of what you've got yourself into. When I graduated in 1988, just 29 years ago, healthcare was rigidly hierarchical. When I trained in Dunedin and Christchurch, doctors were minor deities, and professors like your professors here were gods. One day I asked a surgeon whether he'd ever made a mistake. He told me he recalled it dimly, his one mistake ever. It was 20 years prior and probably someone else's fault. Surgeons, he said, can't afford to make mistakes. That was the point of surgical training. And being the well-brought-up boy I was, I didn't question this fundamental truth. Doctors don't make mistakes, especially consultants. What we now know, of course, is that even in the best institutions, in the best companies, in the best agencies, we in health, education and social services make mistakes often because we're human. The Institute for Healthcare Improvement estimates that 200,000 Americans die each year and millions of patients experience harm from preventable medical errors. In 2008, the cost of medical errors in the US alone was estimated at $19.5 billion, with 10 million lost days of productivity. Worldwide, it's estimated that at any given time, 1.4 million people have a hospital-acquired infection. In New Zealand, there were 454 reported serious adverse events in 2013-14, and the commonest harms were from avoidable falls and delays in diagnosis and treatment. Trying hard to avoid mistakes, being the best that one can be, helps, but it is not a guarantee of infallibility or the safety of our patients or clients. However, we can be safer practitioners and get better outcomes for our students, patients and clients if we learn to practice very differently to my surgeon mentor in 1987. This involves learning new ways of working in new skills, which is what I want to focus on today. Some of this will have been taught to you in your courses, I'm sure. None of this was included in the curriculum when I was a student doctor. I hope much more is included now. It should be. The first point is that mistakes are a normal part of the human condition, and reducing mistakes is first and foremost about improving systems. I can't start my new car without my foot on the clutch. I'm teaching my 17-year-old son to drive a car, which does start while in gear. You guessed it, he nearly put it into the bushes. All around us, systems are arising to make us safer. Better roads, better cars, safer buildings, speed limits by schools. I remember very well making up an infusion of a medicine called digoxin for a patient in coronary care in the old Napier Hospital. Digoxin is lethal in overdose. I was just about to start the infusion when the charge nurse Maureen looked up at my bag and the 10 large ampules of digoxin that I had arranged on the bench. It had been a bit of a squeeze to get them all into the bag. Maureen saved my patient's life and mine when she said, "Russell, thanks for doing that. Can I just check your maths, please?" I've been on duty for over 80 hours that week, and you guessed it, I dropped a decimal point. My father was a pharmacist in Napier. He lived in terror of doctors' illegible handwriting and dispensing the wrong drug, which would have been his fault, even if the writing was illegible. I remember very well one day when he rang a house surgeon mate of mine in Napier to ask very politely if it meant to write amlodipine or amitriptyline. One's for heart arrhythmias and the other is for depression. Now, mistakes like that shouldn't happen. All medicines must be double-checked, including the calculation, and even if it's the consultant who prescribed it. Medicines that look the same shouldn't be stored together in a medicines trolley on the ward. Abbreviations are a no-no, and most prescribing these days is typed. My second point is that we work better and safer in teams. Hierarchies are so last century. My favourite medical writer is Atul Gawande, a surgeon in New York. He talks about cowboys and pit crews. When I was in training, doctors were like cowboys. Like Dr. Gawande, we chose a medicine for the autonomy, independence, self-sufficiency, and creativity. It was common for Dad to get a script for a cream for eczema in a legible Latin with 10 ingredients to be compounded by hand. You made stuff up that you'd tried before and hoped it worked. That will be unheard of now. We do our best to adhere to evidence-based treatments, and systems like Map of Medicine are being used in lots of DHBs now to standardise care. In social work, standardised assessment tools for child abuse, intimate partner violence, parents' addictions and mental illness are becoming the norm. Teachers and educational psychologists have the benefit of population-normed and standardised assessments to assess learning difficulties. The days of making stuff up should be gone. More importantly, we now work in teams, pit crews, Gawande calls them. My outpatient practice in Hastings has become dominated by children with very severe behaviour disturbance, attention deficit, hyperactivity disorder, autism, fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, and children with the attachment and trauma problems of witnessing domestic violence and child abuse. The children many of you will soon be seeing in your careers. I trained in medicine and in paediatrics for 17 years. I'm pretty good at what I do. I can usually figure out why children behave and learn in the ways they do, and how parents' issues like domestic violence and drug and alcohol abuse have caused the child's learning and behaviour problems. But I wouldn't dream of trying to fix those problems on my own. The problems are too complex. The settings are as diverse as homes, schools and preschools, child youth and family homes, and residences. There are parents' issues to address, teachers to educate about why the child behaves the way they do, social workers to engage, and special education staff to bring on board. Prescribing medicines is a minor part of what I do and a tiny part of the solution. Working in teams is safer. With this much going on, it's very easy to get something wrong. It's my job as the leader of my teams to create an environment when the speech-language therapist can disagree with my assessment of language, or the social worker can disagree with my assessment of the domestic violence and the effect it's having on children. The child's voice in particular is crucial. I like to ask children to draw a picture and then tell me about it. It can be anything they like, but they often draw and talk about their family or whānau or kura or school. If we can bring all those voices together to create a picture for the adults around that child of the world through the child's eyes, imagine the power of that to change the way that we adults care for children. Imagine also the joy we feel working together collaboratively, each contributing our disciplines, perspective and skills to improve the life of that child, that family, that whānau. It's not just safer and better, it's more fun. Another difference in the way we now work in health, social work and education is how we educate our students, patients or clients, their parents, caregivers and whānau. When I was a new graduate, the prevailing model of medical education was to fill their empty head with our brilliance. I was the expert in this thing, and your job was to learn from me and do what I say. Turns out it didn't work that well. Patients forget between 40 and 80% of what we tell them. The more that we tell them, the less they remember, and half of what patients remember is incorrect. So these days, we practice differently. We know that information is better remembered and self-care is better when we write information down. Better still if we use pictures as well as words, particularly if our patients have low literacy. As a medical student and paediatric trainee, most of my training was in acute care, diagnosis and treatment. However, the vast majority of the work of a doctor, social worker, nurse, special educator, most of us is with people with chronic issues. Then the vast majority of care doesn't come from us. It comes from parents, caregivers, family, whānau, and our patients and clients themselves. So I'm excited by the idea of parents and patients as partners in a child's or an adult's care. The parents and caregivers of the children I see are far more expert in their child's condition than me, whether it be a physical illness like asthma or eczema, or a learning or behaviour problem. They know much better than me how best to keep their child well, help the child learn or recover from trauma. Expert parents get better outcomes for their children. I'm also excited that EIT and our District Health Board are working together much more closely. Many of our senior nurses, as many of you know, teach the undergraduate nursing courses, and we've been privileged to take many student nurses on placement. This week, we've begun discussions on how we can work more closely together in the undergraduate social work program. The DHB, as the largest employer of VIT graduates, has, I believe, a responsibility to support undergraduate teaching. I hope our clinical teachers model lifelong learning in their teaching too, because, as you all know, learning can't stop when you graduate. Professor Kay Morris-Matthews and her team have kindly agreed to help us evaluate a large cross-sector workforce development program for the vulnerable children's workforce here in Hawke's Bay, called Ngātahi. These kinds of partnerships benefit everyone, the practitioners providing care, both organisations, and most importantly, children and their families and whānau. I look forward to finding more ways that we can work together for the benefit of our families and whānau in our rohi. I look out at all you smart people and I can see the future for children and their families and whānau is in good hands. Congratulations all of you for graduating in your chosen career. Your future in health, education and social care will be in teams. You will include parents and families and whānau as partners in their children's education and care. You will develop safer systems much better than we did, I'm sure. To your families, thank you for the sacrifices I know you've made to help your child through their learning. They're entering careers that are profoundly rewarding. I'm 53 and I love my job just as much now as I did when I first started. I love working with the talented, smart, caring, health, education and social service professionals and parents it's my privilege to work with. I get out of bed on a Monday and think how lucky I am to do what I do, and I hope you all will do too. Nō reira tauira mā tēnā koutou. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa.
Russell, thank you for taking time out of your very, very busy schedule to perform the important role of guest speaker at a graduation ceremony this afternoon. As Chris mentioned in your introduction, your career and interests are diverse. You have fulfilled many roles and been prepared to provide strong leadership where required. You have very strong connections to Hawke's Bay and many other parts of New Zealand where roles have taken you. You have been prepared to pursue goals overseas and achieve great success, both in New Zealand and abroad. Your view of the opportunities available to us is enlightening, refreshing, and challenging. We very much appreciate your wisdom and involvement at both our ceremonies today. We wish you every success for the future. I now invite Professor Warren to continue with the degrees. Thank you.
Mr. Pearson? We will now continue with the conferment of degrees. I have the honour to present the degrees in Te Kura Kaupapa Hauora, Hakinakina, the School of Health and Sports Science. The Bachelor of Recreation and Sport, Javi Awaki. Ashley Blake. Annika Brennan. Natalie Corbett. Tivani Formai. Carl Hewitt. Jackie Hunt. Turiwai Kennedy. Billie Jane Rangi. Manuel Mausch. Zane Munro. Jamie Potu. Hayley Prue. Hannah Russell. Darlene Spooner. Blake Steele. Sergey Turnbull. Joshua Jury Stallone Fotero. Mr. Pearson, I have the honour to present the degrees in Te Kura Kaupapa Tāpuhi, the School of Nursing. The Bachelor of Nursing, Ainsley Anderson. Adrian Appiata. Sheila Argent. Alicia Barrett. Lisa Beamish. Charlotte Bess. Rangin Blackmore. Hannah Bowman. Chantal Buckeridge. Christina Burling. Mr. Pearson will continue with the Bachelor of Nursing. Levi Carroll. Zelandia Cleal. Sam Cooper. Georgia Dawson. Janine Doyle. Danielle Drew. Bernadine Dunn. Jessica Duxfield. Karen Egan. Leah Epps. Our next graduate is also awarded the Hawke's Bay District Health Board Chief Nursing Officer Award for excellence in the Bachelor of Nursing. Congratulations, Ashley Fenton. Risa Field. Erica Flanders. Astrid Jeanette. Sophie Gittings. Hayley Gooding. Fiona Hamlet. Karen Hellier. Maggie Herbison. Nadia Hyde. Maxine Hooker. Jessica Page Hunt. Harita Kenny. Melinda Lee. Celia Littleford. Patrick Lynn. Ella McGilvery. Louise Mackey. Jodie McDonald. Christina McKenna. Lucy Mador. Michaela Moyle. And we'll continue with the Bachelor of Nursing. Sarah Naden. Evangeline Nelson. Sinead O'Leary. Lauren Oliver. Rebecca Peach. Michaela Penman. Chantel Phillips. Rebecca Powell. Lilani Preston. Morelli Pretorius. Christopher Reed. Samantha Richards. Chantal Rogers. Jenna Sivright. Jessica Smith Street. Liana Symes. Holly Mae Taylor. Caitlin Thomas. Natasha Tuaku. Twyla Vincent. Anita Walker. Eve Walker Pongai. Stephanie Ward. Sarah Whittington. Juanita White. Alicia Woon. It is now my pleasure to introduce Wareka Te Maihana. He's a graduate of the EIT Certificate in Contemporary Music Performance 2016. He's going to perform two pieces, one that is by James Blake called Retrograde, and another one he's written himself called Hero. Please welcome Y.
You've grown, a few more years to go, so don't let the hurdles fall. Just be the one you are. Be the one you are. I'll wait ignore everybody else. You're alone now. Suddenly I'm hit. It's this darkness of the dawn, and your friends aren't gone, and my friends won't come. So show me why you fit. Show me where you fit. Thanks. I found my book, but it's empty. Just take a look. I'm not surprised when you say you don't believe me. There's no give and take, just taking. So when my tears hit the page, I can see the details in the fabric. Na 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 na. I can't help you, but I wish I could turn Super Saiyan 2. Said I mean I would. I would have been your hero. I take a step back, and I realize that purple is the new black, and let your bright blue tears fall from my eyes. They don't want anything to do with you. So when you get knocked down, you gotta get back up and show all of these people you got no tear ducts. Na 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 na. I can't help you, but I wish I could turn Super Saiyan 2. Said I mean I would. I would have been your hero. Thank you.
Thank you, Y. How amazing are our graduates? It's wonderful. Mr. Pearson, I have the honour to present the postgraduate qualifications in Te Kura Kaupapa Hawara Hakinakina, the School of Health and Sports Science, and Te Kura Kaupapa Tāpuhi, the School of Nursing. Postgraduate Certificate in Health Science, Amanda de Hoop. Nada Hayes. Esther Rimmer. Teresa Stiles. Well done. The Postgraduate Certificate in Health Science, Health Service Management, Candice Heremaya. Victoria Spears. And now we've got the Postgraduate Diploma in Health Science, Guraf Churak. Selma Dalip. Isha. Ninu Joshi. Mariama Caravankal George. Shanitha Kanyam Parampil Saman. Smitha Matthew. Maria Ramina Simonia. Anton Shrajesh. Meera Surendran. Jincy Thomas. Nishu Thomas. The Postgraduate Diploma in Health Science, Child and Family Health, Prabnor Kaur. The Postgraduate Diploma in Health Science, Primary Health Care, Belinda Urquhart. Mr. Pearson, I have the honour to present the Master's Qualifications in Te Kura Kaupapa Hauora Hakinakina, the School of Health and Sports Science, and Te Kura Kaupapa Tāpuhi, the School of Nursing. Christopher Malcolm with merit. Mr. Malcolm's independent scholarly project is titled Models and Measures, an Integrative Literature Review, Tools for Describing and Measuring Family and Spiritual Well-Being. Congratulations. Tawahi Munro, with distinction. Oh, sorry, yes. Okay. Mr. Munro's independent scholarly project is titled Transition from Clinical Nurse Expert to Novice Educator in a Faculty Setting, an Integrative Review. Congratulations. Janice Henry with distinction. Mrs. Henry's thesis is titled Mild Traumatic Brain Injury in New Zealand, Post-Concussion Symptoms and Recovery. Congratulations. Penny McGarry with distinction. Mrs. McGarry's thesis is titled The Rivermead Post-Concussion Questionnaire Scores as a Risk Indicator for Prolonged Recovery from Concussion. Congratulations. Kirsten Westwood with merit. Ms. Westwood's thesis is titled Water Fluoridation, a Contest of Control. Congratulations. We now have the Master of Nursing. Brenda Moana with distinction. Mrs. Moana's thesis is titled Primary Healthcare Nurses Discussing Sexual Health with Older Clients. Congratulations, Brenda. Paul Schofield with merit. Mr. Schofield's thesis is titled Behaviour Change Maintenance Following a Myocardial Infarction. Congratulations, Paul. Mr. Pearson, that concludes the conferment of degrees. The degrees are also confirmed and the diplomas are also awarded to those who are listed as in absentia. Thank you, Mr. Pearson. I now call on our Deputy Chief Executive, Mark Aldershaw, to introduce the valedictorian.
Thank you. It is my very great pleasure to introduce the valedictorian for this afternoon. Valedictorian is the anglicised derivation of the Latin word meaning to say farewell and is given as the last presentation of a graduation ceremony by a student that represents the whole graduating student body. Our valedictorian this afternoon graduates with a Bachelor of Nursing degree. She came to Hawke's Bay from Britain 11 years ago and now happily calls Hawke's Bay home. She is married with 3 children. She chose to study nursing for the opportunity to care for individuals and their families and make a difference in their lives through advocacy. Caring for the most vulnerable is her passion, and she is excited to have started her nursing career working with children at Hawke's Bay Hospital in the paediatric ward. Ladies and gentlemen and graduates, it gives me very great pleasure to welcome back on stage and speaking on behalf of the graduating class of 2017, Sheila Argent, Bachelor of Nursing.
Always strive to improve in whatever you do and always give 100%. These are values my parents lived by and encouraged me and my siblings to embrace. These values were evident in my parents' work ethic and family life, and I'm also proud to have seen these values practiced by my own children. Come on, Sheila. At the age of 30, and with a very young family, my father changed careers, from having an office job to becoming a school teacher, with my mother working several jobs to support him. A big decision to make at the time, but one my parents never regretted. I, like my father, have taken an opportunity to change my career path and mine from banking to nursing. I would like to take this moment to thank my family, my husband Dave and 3 wonderful children, Aaron, Ewan and Amy. They've been so supportive to me throughout my studies. I may sometimes have been a little stressed, maybe a little grumpy, and often very tired, and I thank them for putting up with me. For myself and the nursing graduates here today, the EIT has taken us on a journey through many areas relating to healthcare, and this in turn has given us the knowledge, insight and tools to begin our nursing careers and the opportunity to become the very best we can be. Recognition and appreciation of the teaching team must be acknowledged. I thank the tutors, many of whom have the natural gift for teaching and who have shared personal work experience to enhance our understanding around nursing practice. The educators in the CAT lab, whose roles seem endless, and for the staff who work tirelessly behind the scenes, have always been so accommodating. Finally, to the library and learning services, always willing to assist and gently guide without judgment. Personally, for me, a special acknowledgement to Noreen Kelly and Marcus Simpkin, both truly accomplished in their roles, both of whom are open in their approach and always helpful and professional. Round of applause, yes. This, however, is only the beginning. It is up to us to put our knowledge, understanding and dreams into practice to make a difference. I have learnt about many inspirational people over the years. Some that have stood out for me have included Helen Keller, Rosa Parks, Nelson Mandela and Emmeline Pankhurst. These individuals strove to improve and make a difference in what they believed in, whilst giving 100% towards their causes. I was asked to give an inspirational speech today, and I wondered, how can I inspire those of you who over the last 3.5 years have inspired me? We have all experienced challenges during these years: financial challenges, academic challenges, living away from home, sleep deprivation, juggling family with work and study. There were many times when I sat late at night and into the early hours of the morning with a blanket wrapped around me while studying for another exam or finding evidence for yet another essay. The house was so quiet as the family slept. Those for me were truly lonely hours. But I chose to do this because I was striving to improve, and I chose and gave 100%. The heartbreaking loss of loved ones has also been experienced by several of my peers through these sad times. I've seen the most amazing camaraderie and empathy, with so many coming together in support for one another. We have all, I believe, inspired someone. I've had the pleasure of meeting many amazing people while studying EIT and have been lucky to have built lifelong friendships. I would like to share a quote by Steve Jobs. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know when you find it. As we close here today and leave to begin our celebrations, I hope you can take with you and put into practice the values I have spoken about. Always strive to improve in whatever you do and always give 100%. Congratulations, everyone, and thank you.
E nau iwi tēnā koutou katoa. Greetings to everyone gathered here today. At graduation, we draw on tradition in donning academic robes and enacting the ancient ritual of capping. The role of valedictorian is another important component of this time-honoured ceremony. Sheila's address encompassed the joys and challenges which students experience as they strive for their tertiary qualifications. Today we've gathered to celebrate the realisation of these educational aspirations in this, our 2017 cohort of graduates. Endeavour, commitment, recognising and grasping opportunities, and taking pride in achievement. These are the underlying values of our celebration. And Sheila, congratulations. Your eloquent address captured these qualities. Thank you for a job well done. We wish you well for your future. In taking the leap of faith into the world of tertiary education, our students have to manage study, family life, financial commitments, friendships, sports and leisure activities, yet still find time to sleep. While a village may be needed to raise a child, the support of the wider community also benefits students on their demanding learning journeys. So many thanks to the committed families, friends, well-wishers who have lovingly helped carry the load. And now I'm speaking for all EIT staff and council members and telling you that we derive great satisfaction in recognising and celebrating the successes of our graduates. Because we're educators, your achievements are also our achievements. Your successes affirming, and we share in your sense of fulfilment today. Because graduation also shines a light on EIT's performance, we'd like to share a few significant points that relate to that today. Significantly, Māori are making great strides in engaging in tertiary education, and this is reflected in achievement rates. Last year, Māori comprised 42% of EIT's Hawke's Bay student body. For 2016, we have awarded 180 more qualifications to Māori, 164 certificates, 17 more diplomas, 17 fewer degrees, but importantly, 6 more postgraduate qualifications. In total, EIT Hawke's Bay has awarded 2,584 qualifications for 2016 completions, 168 more, or 7%, than the previous year. We are constantly looking to widen our range of offerings at all levels, and this year we awarded 41 more postgraduate qualifications than in 2016. People of all ages study at EIT, reflecting a growing interest in lifelong learning. The youngest to complete a qualification last year was a 16-year-old who gained the Level 2 Certificate in Foundation Studies, Allied Trades. And at the other end of the spectrum, a 74-year-old achieved a certificate in Introduction to Visual Arts and Design. So we all bask in the glow of graduation. Our thanks go to those who have worked so hard to organise these ceremonies and to the dedicated teaching and support teams who underpin our many programs. We embrace you all in our educational family. Graduates, you are our alumni, and you carry us with you as you move out into the world. You are our greatest te onga. I now invite our kaiwhakahari Tūhākea Keeper to come forward for the karakia. Thank you.
Kia ora tātou. I te tuatau ka tautoko ake au i ngā mihi ko mihia, nā reira kei ngā pakeke, tēnā koutou. Ngā rai kūrehere, tainua ki ngā rai māenene, tēnā koutou katoa. Ka tira, ka tuku ngā mihi ki ngā tauira, ka tika me noho poho kereru koutou. I roto i ngā mahi ko oti nei koutou, i ngā tau ko pahuri ake nei. Hoi nora, hei whakakapi a tātou nei hui, me inoi tātou. Puritia mai te tauru o te rangi kia tīna, kia wēnā, kia toko te mano aura. Tīna toko te mano ora ki whea, tīna toko te mano ora ki rangi i tūnei, ki papa tuanuku e takoto nei. Ki tēnā o tātou, te whānau ngā whanaunga me ngā piringa karanga maha. Āpiti atu ki te hunga mā wiwi, te hunga e tāmea nei te pauritanga, Koe rai rongo, whakaria ki kirunga kia tīna, tīna. Hui e, tai ki e. In this prayer, we acknowledge the life force that exists around us, from the sky to the earth. We ask that it bestows blessings upon our graduates, their whānau, and their whānau at home. The ceremony will close with the national anthem, which will be led by Alison Beale. Please join in, and the words are in the program on page 11. It will be sung first in Māori and then in English. Please remain standing while the official party, staff and graduates retire.